Right, hello, welcome to the Daily Rift. I'm Tim, and I will be running a Nephalem Rift for your entertainment pleasure this afternoon. I play a lot of Diablo 3, and I felt it was time I did something about what I was playing and what I was doing with that. So, that's my plan for this video, is to just run a single Rift, see what loot we get, and see how we do in terms of upgrades for this particular character, who, if you'll notice in the top right corner of the screen, is only running on Torment 4 because I still don't have a decent set of pants. She's rocking a pair of Depth Diggers right now, which are okay, decently rolled, but I'd really like to get more. She's only got 2 of the Mara's set on this character. I mainly play Demon Hunter and Wizard, mostly because they're the classes I like the most, but also mostly because they're the classes I find easiest to play. I tend to go for fairly lazy builds that don't require a lot of button input on my part, which you can probably tell by the fact that I'm using sentries. And this is actually a really nice build. It's not really copied from anyone. I look at other people's builds and then I take bits of them and add them to my own. I don't necessarily come up with the best builds, and I would not recommend using the builds I make. I like builds that will get me where I want to go in a way that I enjoy. And I always feel with Diablo 3 that one of the great things about the way its skill system and its build... Oh, we got a ring. One of the great things about its skill system and its build systems is the fact that you can generally come up with something... That'll be my housemate in the background. You can generally come up with something really interesting just off your own bat, and it's difficult to create builds that don't work, at least on some level. Of course, that's before you start getting to the higher Torment difficulties, like Torment 6, at which point, build variety becomes a lot less common, primarily because there are optimal ways to create those builds, and we don't generally do them that easily. Now, I can do Torment 6 on my Wizard. She has better gear than this character, but I like the idea of having a goal whenever I play Diablo 3, and the goal I have for this particular run, in fact most of my runs with this character at the moment, is to get her upgraded so she can start doing Torment 6. Now you're probably looking at that and saying, hey, you're absolutely destroying Torment 4, why don't you go up to Torment 6 right now? Primary reason for that is because it will take longer, and I'd like to be able to just rock a lower Torment level, even if it means I get slightly less rewards, because I can do more Torment levels faster than if I do the other ones. Now, the thing I'm not doing at the moment, and the thing I really should be doing, is using Marked for Death. I switched over to it. I was using Vengeance, and I switched over to Marked from Death the other day because I thought it would give me a slight damage boost, and I kind of hate waiting for long cooldowns. I'm not a big fan of long cooldowns in any game, and Vengeance is, to me, a long cooldown. It's got like a 90-second cooldown in this game. And I just really, really don't like having to wait for long cooldowns. I find Vengeance is really good for killing elites, and that's about it. Whereas Marked for Death, if I remember to put it up, and I'm using the Contagion rune on it, so you'll see what happens when I kill everything, it'll fly backwards on that. So that's the plan with Marked for Death. So that's kind of the philosophy behind this build, is that it's a slightly lazy build. Marked for Death is about the most active part of it, aside from the actual skills. I'm using Evasive Fire with the... I forgot the name of the rune. The one that gives you 7 hatred whenever you kill... what is it? Focus. That's the rune. So I'm using Evasive Fire with the Focus rune, which is a really nice rune. I like... Generally with my Demon Hunter, I prefer to have something that gives me extra hatred regeneration. And of course, the other thing you'll notice with this build in general is that it's focused on frost damage more than anything else. In fact, I don't use anything that isn't a frost damage dealer. And that allows me to build up elemental damage using frost, which may or may not be the best option. But enemies generally don't have elemental resistances in this game, so you can specialise in one element, and I prefer Frost for the control it gives me, particularly as a ranged attacker, where I want to be able to control the speed and positioning of my enemies as best I can. And Polar Station on the sentry helps with that. I know Spitfire turret is generally slightly higher DPS, but I prefer Polar Station because it gives me that extra bit of control, and I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of damage output just for that extra control. The idea of Mark for Death is that it'll make up for that lost damage that I get from not having the turrets. So let's see how we go. We're about a bit over a third of the way through here. There we go. That's what Mark for Death does. I'm using the Contagion Rune on Mark for Death, which basically spreads it. When you kill an enemy, it spreads it. The downside to Contagion, as far as I can see, is that you need to put on an enemy that's going to die very quickly as you start attacking a pack, and then it will spread to the other enemies. And that way you get it spreading very quickly. This is especially true when you're dealing with elites and champions, because you want to be able to get it onto the elites and champions as quickly as possible. So having a few sort of popcorn enemies that you can kill fairly easily before you get to the elites and the champions allows you to spread Marked for Death onto all of them a lot quicker. Oh, there's a goblin over there. Let's go find that goblin. There's a community buff at the moment which gives me double goblins, so I'll probably try and focus on one of them. It's only one goblin, but I've got the community buff. Where's the other goblin? Oh, whatever. It's gonna die. Die, little goblin. It's dead. Hey, it dropped a legendary too. So, oh wow, it dropped. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. That was one of those. I have run out of inventory space. Okay. Do I need more inventory space? Probably. I'll probably throw out all those blues. I don't need all those blues. So. I know they're good for arcane dust, but I have a lot of arcane dust. I don't need more. Is there anything else? Besides, I've just picked up a bunch of it. We'll level those blues there. We don't need them. That was a lot of loot now. Where does the map say to go next? Up that way. Okay, so we'll head up this way. I really like... this is my favourite part of Diablo 3 actually, is the Nephalem Rifts and the Greater Rifts. I think... I love the idea of having the randomly generated levels and just picking them out and doing them. I was a big fan of Torchlight and its maps feature back in the day, and Torchlight 2 of course has it as well. But in general, and I know this might be a bit of a controversial thing to say, but in general I prefer the Diablo games, particularly Diablo 3. I actually... one of those rare people who actually liked Diablo 3 from the beginning, and continue to do so. I just have so much fun in this game, killing the monsters. And I like the idea that I can just come into the game and just put a key fragment into the obelisk and have this completely unique level. I mean, it's not totally unique, but you never get the same layout twice most of the time, and you end up with these really, really sort of unique adventures that you can just have, and it takes like 15-20 minutes, however long it takes to do. And yeah, so I like having that kind of fun with this game, and it's about my favourite thing to do. So yeah, okay, we're up to stage 2. I'm just going to take a glass of water. Talking into a microphone is thirsty work. If there was a big loud pop in the file, then it was likely the mute button on these headphones, which seems to do that for some reason, so I'll try to avoid using it as much as possible. Yeah, we're talking pro setup here, guys. Yep. Headset in question is an Audio-Technica ADG1. Very nice headset, highly recommend it. If you can afford it, they are not cheap. I was lucky this one was given to me as a present, so didn't have to pay for it. My housemate, who's heavily into Guild Wars 2, also uses one, and she likes it a lot too. So anyway, one thing I'm not so sure I like is the change to sentries at the moment, with regards to the way the charges work on sentries. You probably notice that I can get like 5 sentries up. That's because I have the quiver that gives you the bonus 2 sentries, and I have the custom engineering passive which gives me an extra sentry, so I can go from 3 to 5 sentries. I've run out of inventory space again, haven't I? So am I even going to bother picking any of these up? If they're not legendaries, I think I'll leave them on the ground. I've got enough yellows in my bags at this point. Oh, there's another goblin up there. How did I not notice that? Pay attention to the map, Norman. So, okay, where's that goblin? We don't want to bring up the follower dialogue. Getting a bit radical with my mouse movement. Where's that goblin? Did I kill it? No, it's over there. Did it get away? No, it hasn't got away yet. Die. I like they've changed the behaviour of the goblins now. They don't immediately portal away, and you can usually interrupt their portals much more effectively now. So I'm sort of okay with that. And of course, new varieties of goblins. I think we got one of the collector goblins before. I didn't get a good look at its name. I was too busy sort of concentrating trying to kill it. You'll probably notice, yeah, my inventory is massively full. Okay. It's a death breath though. I'll pick that up before we go to the next level. But I'll leave everything else. I have more than enough crafting materials that I can skip over those. So it's not a big deal. And yeah, at the end of the run I'll identify all the legendaries and we'll see what we got out of them. Geez, a lot of arcane sentry people I'm getting in this run too. Probably going to come up to the Rift boss. Should run a book on what Rift boss I get. So, I always get the angel for some reason. The Frost Angel, I've got the name of Rhyme. I seem to get Rhyme for some reason. Like, more than any other Rift boss, that's the one I get the most. I get the one that's based on the Butcher a fair bit too. Here we go. Let's see, what Rift boss did we end up with? It's up over there. Bone Warlock. Okay, so that's the one that isn't the Skeleton King. Actually, no, Bone Warlock isn't the one that's not the Skeleton King. Looks like the Skeleton King. I'll do something about my health here too. The Bone Warlock has come with a lot of friends, so I can't spread that. So yeah, the setup for this computer that I'm running on is basically a GeForce GTX 970, Intel Core i7 4-core, I forget the exact model, the fast one, that's the one it is. Logitech G910 keyboard, which I got a little while ago, very nice keyboard. That's the Bone Warlock, get the Nephalem Rift. Yeah, very nice keyboard. Using a actually all Logitech all the time setup for the keyboard and the mouse, because the mouse is a Logitech, the one with the stupid name that I've forgotten the name of, the recent one, the really angular one. Yeah, that one. So it's a really nice mouse. I like it. And the best thing about them is they're really nice mice that are actually not super expensive. Like in terms of gaming mice, you're not paying more than about 100 Australian dollars for them. So that's always nice. This thing's nearly done. There we go. And if it drops anything I really want to pick up, I'm going to be annoyed. Nope, just Forgotten Soul, Veiled Crystal, and some Arcane Dust, some Blood Shards. Why did I pick up the health potion? I already have a special potion. I don't need it. It's probably sitting there taking up space in my inventory. So that's the end of that rift. We'll head back to town and I will identify those legendaries and we'll see what we had. I should probably be embarrassed by the amount of gold I have in my inventory, but that's because I've spent it recently on a lot of gems. So, okay, so what legendary have we got? We've got an Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac, which I've had like 4 of these things drop in the past week. It's not an upgrade for me right now. Got Mara's Kaleidoscope. Ooh, that's really good. I've been looking for one of those actually. So, pity the roll on it wasn't that great. What was the roll? Not super good roll, unfortunately. And of course I'll need to re-roll it for a socket if I want to use it. And I got Custarian wrist guards. Yay. Yeah, so I haven't had a lot of good luck with pants. You can see I'm rocking a old pair of Depth Diggers. Gungdo gear there. And I've got Gloves of Worship for some reason. So yeah, I need to get Mara's basically, and that's the goal with this thing, is to get Mara's, yeah, gold wrap. And on the other hand, I've got a Bombardier's rucksack, which is why I have the 2 additional sentries. Stone of Jordan, which is always handy. I got that the other day, actually. But and the best part with that Stone of Jordan is that it came with a socket, too, which they don't always do. This is something I also need to upgrade, is my Barizado cannon, because it's not particularly great. And my Ring of Royal Grandeur, which I use because All Guild's 2-piece becomes All Guild's 3-piece at that point. So let's turn that in, and yeah, so that was my rift run, and we'll be back tomorrow with another